Youth mental health is a complex challenge that requires comprehensive solutions. We must strengthen after-school programs. We must make digital literacy tools available in our schools. We must work with mental health professionals to support children. And we must empower mentors, educators, and parents to keep kids happy. Learn more about our commitment to finding lasting solutions at empowerourfuturecoalition.com/solutions. Paid for by the Coalition to Empower Our Future.
The longer you stay alive, the longer you can enjoy Boost Mobile's unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. So here are some tips. Do not parallel park on a cliff if you want to enjoy an unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. Do not mistake a wasp nest for a piñata if you want to enjoy an unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. Do not microwave a hard-boiled egg if you want to enjoy an unlimited plan with the price that never goes up. Stay alive and enjoy unlimited wireless for $25 a month forever with Boost Mobile. After 30 gigs, customers may experience lower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Scary. If you are new here, my name is Will, and each week I narrate your real life paranormal experiences as well as cover some famous paranormal cases along the way. Before we get into this week's episode, as always, I need to say a special thank you to our new Patreon subscribers who are Isabel, Francesca Bancroft, Lovisa, Rachel Bentley, and Lewis. Thank you so much for signing up to the show's Patreon, and if this is something you're interested in, you can find the link in this episode show notes where you can gain access to ad-free main episodes as well as exclusive scary episodes. But now, let's get into our first paranormal encounter. I'm from Sweden, born and raised, so please excuse my grammar or choice of words if it isn't quite entirely correct. My story takes place in early spring 2008. I was in, I guess, what you would call high school, although it's different here in Sweden. Elementary school is mandatory, and what translates into high school are the 3 years we can choose to study afterwards, between the ages of 16 to 19. Most teenagers go to high school though, since there's little chance of work without it. When I was younger, I aspired to become a chef, so culinary school was a sure choice for me. During the last semester of my senior year, everyone in my grade was going on a 2-month-long mandatory internship in various locations. And by this time I was really sick and tired of the city I grew up in, and I felt I needed to get away for a while. The school had some pre-existing internships if you didn't want to find one on your own, and one of them was a bit farther north from my hometown. It was a small town and it took about 3 hours by train to get there, and it felt perfect. The internship was in the kitchen of a hotel, which meant I got to stay in one of their rooms for free during the whole period, which was excellent for a 19-year-old student. The town that I was going to call home for the next few months was quite small. It was pretty much a everyone knows everyone kind of place. It lies at the edge of a big lake with vast forests on one side and a high hill to the other side. And the hotel was located almost at the very top of that hill and had a gorgeous view of the town and lake below. I remember the walk up the hill was quite long and steep, and I was glad I was going to be living at the hotel and didn't have to walk up it every morning. When I got there, I remember the head chef welcomed me, showed me around the kitchen and told me I would stay in the old wing. The hotel is fully renovated though, so everything felt fresh and relatively modern. And he also informed me that they had no guests staying in the hotel at the moment, so that when all the staff went home for the day, I would be completely alone in the building until morning. I didn't feel like this was an issue, though I was a teenager, and I thought I'd stay in the room and just try to get a good night's sleep before work the next day. Come evening, the hotel was totally empty of people, save for myself, and I settled into a very simple but nice room, and it was time to get some sleep. I remember I was lying on my side, facing the wall, enjoying the quiet, and as I was drifting off to sleep, I felt something, or rather someone, in my bed, and they appeared from seemingly nowhere. Someone was lying in the bed with me, spooning and hugging me from behind. I remember feeling more surprised than anything, and strangely not scared or startled. And somehow, although my back was to this person, I saw him, like in my mind's eye is the best way to describe it. I saw this rather young adult man with well-combed dark brown hair, wearing an old-timey looking brown cardigan of some sort. I remember thinking I should be scared or freak out, but the energy around it didn't feel sinister or any way terrifying at all. I could actually just feel longing and love emanating from this man. I could feel whatever this was hugging me, squeezing me, and then I heard something whispered in my ear. I heard the name Elizabeth. This longing and love in his voice, and I heard it as clear as day. And then there was a change. It felt like I was being squeezed harder and harder, to the point where I then started to freak out because I felt like I couldn't move a muscle at this point. And all that was going through my head was, he's going to crush me if this continues. And I couldn't move. So I gathered all my strength and willpower, and I tried to shake something loose, an arm, a leg, anything. And a couple of seconds later, which felt like a full minute, I managed to twitch my arm and leg, shaking this man and this crushing sensation off me. And then, nothing. He was gone, my body felt fine, and the room felt empty. I just remember feeling a calm as soon as the crushing sensation was gone, and I just lay there in the bed thinking, could that have just been sleep paralysis? I've never had sleep paralysis before, and I've never had it since, for that matter. And I've read that it usually occurs when lying on your back, but I guess it's possible lying on your side as well. I am quite a spiritual person, and I do believe in many things that people call supernatural, and I have a theory about sleep paralysis, that it is this scary veil you have to pass through before accomplishing astral projection. That is when your soul detaches momentarily from your body so you can travel wherever you like before returning to your body again. I have tried many times through various techniques to achieve this throughout my life, but never accomplished anything like it. Anyhow, I went back to sleep, thinking it was just a new experience, whether it was a ghost or sleep paralysis. I didn't think too much about it after that, just focused on working my internship, and it never happened again. I made friends with my co-workers and even started dating one of them after a couple of weeks, a really sweet guy. One night we had dinner together at work and enjoyed some one-on-one time in the empty dark lobby of the hotel where we had our first kiss. So we sat up and cuddled on one of the sofas, and I was talking and playing with his hair until he dozed off. I only realised he had fallen asleep when he woke up startled, shaking and gasping for air. And I said, "Hey, what happened? You look terrified." And he said he had some weird nightmare. I asked him what it was about, and he told me it was just this guy standing in front of me, but he was furious. And he started walking towards me. He looked really like he was going to kill me. That made me think about the experience I had the first night there. I hadn't told him or anyone about it, so I asked him, what did he look like? And he answered and said he was kind of young, but a bit older than us. Brown, well-combed hair, a brown shirt of some sort on. It looked kind of old-fashioned. I was stunned. I told him about my first night there. It was all very odd, and we discussed the possibilities around it, and one theory was that maybe I looked like his old girlfriend or something. Maybe he had died here a long time ago. The hotel is kind of old after all, and probably has a lot of history tied to it. After all of this, I planned to do some research about the history of the hotel, but I never got to do it, until I decided to send my story in to you. And the history is fascinating. The hotel opened in 1927 and has had several owners since, along with remodelings and expansions, but the original building still stands, which is where I had my room when I was staying there in 2008. During World War II though, the hotel was for a period of time used as a detention centre for Allied American and British aviators. I think they were RAF soldiers, but it's difficult to confirm that. And apparently, it was quite common in Sweden during the war that these airplanes got shot down or had to make emergency landings because of a lack of fuel. And this hotel housed many of those men for a period of time. I even managed to find an old picture showing a few aviators staying there during that time period. And even if I didn't see my midnight hugger, the hair, the clothes, the demeanour of them, the resemblance is uncanny. Thank you, Bonnie, for sending in your paranormal experience. You need to tell us this hotel. Where is this hotel? We all need to go to Sweden immediately. Now, let's get into our second paranormal experience. This goes back to 2008, a year after my gran had passed away. We decided to take a family break to Norfolk with our daughters, who were aged 8 and 4 at the time, and my parents. We had found a lovely mock Tudor house online in a small village on the Broads. It had a big garden and a pool. The girls were very excited and we all looked forward to the break. It took us about 5 hours to get there, so we were pretty tired when we pulled up on the long gravel drive. The house was quite imposing, surrounded by trees, making the front pretty shadowy. And once we went in, it's hard to say why, but something felt off to me. To be honest, it wasn't exactly what we expected. A bit run down and dirty. I guess we just thought it was the long journey that had put us in the wrong frame of mind. So the next day, we explored the garden and the house. There was a lot of space, and the house had this quirky feel to it, very dusty and cluttered. The dining room had one of those really old-fashioned rocking horses in the window, and we joked that it had haunted written all over it. That night we played some board games and settled down, putting the girls to bed about 2 hours later. About 2 a.m, I was woken by a noise. Children's footsteps on the landing, I thought. And I got up thinking the girls were fooling about, but there was no sign. They were both sound asleep in their bed. I assumed that I'd imagined it. I didn't mention it, but I had a real sense of something in the house. It definitely felt like something odd was there, just out of sight. The next night, same again. I swore I heard children laughing on the landing, but like before, the girls were sound asleep. My wife asked what was up, and I just said I heard a noise. She didn't seem to have heard the same thing as I did, so I wondered if it was all in my imagination. So a couple of days passed, and making the most of the sun, the girls wanted to use the pool, so we agreed, and we cleared the leaves and got them ready. Just when they were about to get in, our youngest suddenly fell into the water, and my dad grabbed her and pulled her to the side. She was a good swimmer but had panicked, and when she calmed down, she said that she had been pushed. We thought she was just upset, but she insisted. And the thing is, no one was close enough to push her. I wondered if she was just trying to get her sister in trouble. Another couple of days passed with no strangeness, and I was still feeling something wrong, but it wasn't as oppressive. Then, near our last night, we were taking a few pictures in the front garden, and we noticed these orbs in the air, and we put it down to the flash catching insects or something, and we went back in to play some games. And partway through the evening, our youngest wanted a toy from the sitting room, so went to get it. This meant crossing the hallway, which was in darkness. And we hear her cry out and come running back into the dining room, white as a sheet and shaking. She said that she had seen something but couldn't say what. We settled her, but she wanted the light left on that night. Nothing else happened on the last day or night. And once home, I told my wife and parents about the noises. They hadn't heard them, but my mum agreed there was a strange atmosphere. Our youngest is now 21 and still can't say what scared her that night, but definitely remembers it. One final thing, a few years later, we were telling a friend about it and got out some photos, and our eldest daughter looked at them and asked what was in the window of one of them, and we all looked closely, and I swear there is a face there, but we were all outside at the time. Thank you, Paul, for sending in your paranormal experience. And now, let's get into our last. Before I start my story, let me explain that I won't give the name of the hospital as the ward is still in use. And all I will say is that I work for the NHS Scotland, and the area I worked in was the mental health unit. The ward I work in is a locked ward, by that we receive patients who had serious mental illness problems. My ward was separate from the main hospital, and it was a long straight building divided into what we called houses. House 1 was where the charge nurse had his office and the area where the patients got their meds. House 2 for female patients. House 3 for males, and House 4 had some spare bedrooms and was where the staff room and lockers were. Now, unlike general wards, we never experienced death on the ward, so it would be the last place to be haunted, you would think. A couple of years ago, we received a new patient, a guy in his early 20s, and let's call him Tom, not his real name. He had major mental health issues, and as a result of these issues, he tried numerous times to end his life. I guess you could say he was a bit of a loner and preferred to have as little contact with people as possible, and he could become quite violent towards staff, so it was decided to put him in one of the spare rooms in House 4. And thankfully it worked. the incidences of aggression stopped. Plus, he got to play his favourite music loud, which I guess you would call club or rave music. Anyway, over time, with new medication and therapy, he appeared to have turned his life around. He became positive and declared that he no longer felt suicidal. And after a few months, he was allowed to return home. And unfortunately, a day after getting home, he took his life and was found a few days later. It was after his death that some strange things began to happen. Staff started to say that they had seen a black figure peeping around doors or seen moving very fast in the shadows. And of course, we all thought they were playing a joke. I was one of them, as I knew ghosts were not real and only saw them in horror films. Until one night, I was on night shift and I was heading to the staff room to take my break. It was about 2 a.m. and I was heading through House 4 when right in front of me was a dark figure. It was only there for a second, but it was there. I could see a solid shadow in human form. And thinking that someone was there, I turned the lights on and looked but found nobody. I ended up telling my colleague and they said they had seen it before as well and described the same figure. Even if we didn't see anything, you occasionally would hear somebody moving around or things being moved in House 4. We would check, and of course we would find nothing. By now, we call him Tom, and we truly believed it was him. Another of Tom's favourite things was to turn the main lights on in House 4. At night, we turned off all the main lights, but you would go along and find them back on. We would turn them off, and 10 minutes later, you would find them all back on again. It got to the stage that at night, if we needed to go through House 4, we went in twos. Or you would say, "Hi Tom, we're just popping through to the staff room," or "Tom, stop messing about." Over the course of a few months, these incidences started to reduce and eventually stopped, and has never happened again. One of my colleagues worked out that the length of the haunting was exactly the same length of time Tom had been in the ward until his release. Wow, thank you Iain for sending in our final paranormal experience. And don't forget, if you have your own paranormal experience that you'd like me to narrate on the show, you can send it to scaryaparanormalpodcast@gmail.com and it just might get made into a future episode. Thank you so much to our 3 listeners who sent in their experiences. Thank you for listening, and join me next time for another episode of Scary.
Youth mental health is a complex challenge that requires comprehensive solutions. We must strengthen after-school programs. We must make digital literacy tools available in our schools. We must work with mental health professionals to support children. And we must empower mentors, educators, and parents to keep kids happy. Learn more about our commitment to finding lasting solutions at empowerourfuturecoalition.com/solutions. Paid for by the Coalition to Empower Our Future.
Scary.
Youth mental health is a complex challenge that requires comprehensive solutions. We must strengthen after-school programs. We must make digital literacy tools available in our schools. We must work with mental health professionals to support children. And we must empower mentors, educators, and parents to keep kids happy. Learn more about our commitment to finding lasting solutions at empowerourfuturecoalition.com/solutions. Paid for by the Coalition to Empower Our Future.
At Strayer University, we help students like you go from, is it possible, to anything is possible by offering access to up to 10 no-cost gen ed courses, so you can reach your goals affordably and fast. Visit strayer.edu to learn more. No-cost gen eds provided by Strayer University affiliate Sophia. Eligibility rules apply. Connect with us for details. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.